Welcome back. Hold on real quick. Can you hear me clearly?
I hear you clearly, man. Keep firing away.
Okay, this is adults only that can be seen every Wednesday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Tell a relative, tell a friend, tell a coworker. Tonight's broadcast is going to be a touch up from last week, which is called Beef Part 2. And we have to dive a little bit deeper because last week we couldn't finish it all up. But we have a little bit more unpacking to do. So, with that being said, I want to bring on my big brother,
Hey,
John. What's up, John? How you feeling, man?
man, I'm ready to go. Like you said, we have a lot of unfinished business to take care of, and
Okay.
I think we are not going to delay anymore because this is a discussion that many of us like to ignore. But we have to be the grown-ups in this conversation, and we must start the conversation off by talking about African Americans beefing on social media and how
Ooh.
damaging and how devastating that is. So,
Yeah.
we got people coming in. Why don't you talk to the people as they coming through?
I try to hurry up and get those out the way. First with Sister Marie, we appreciate her on. Mashonda, we appreciate her. And Nuji, she's on there. She says, peace and blessings. We appreciate all of you because sincerely, you all could be doing anything, watching anything, doing anything, and you chose to stick with us for an hour. We truly appreciate it. Go ahead, big brother.
Okay, no, Chaz, why are we still having this discussion in 2024 when it comes to people like that look like us? I mean, why are we still having this discussion about people acting like little children, beefing and arguing and talking about each other's mother and just going backwards when it comes to the conversation?
You can't avoid it, brother. It's everywhere. Every time you look around on social media, on TV, politicians, beef is something that nobody can avoid. And with
Right.
that being said, we have to carefully watch ourselves because if we don't, you'll see that we start to take sides with these actors, rappers,
Mm.
politicians. And then there's some people take it a step farther, brother, where
Mm.
they will actually kill you over their
Come on,
politician.
Chaz, man.
They will
Come on,
kill
man.
you if you don't
What?
side with their favorite rapper. They will kill you if you don't side with their favorite team. I mean, brother, it's ridiculous. Now, I just wanted to say real quick, I'm kind of talking fast. We got a lot to unpack. Sister Barbara's on there. She says, Hotep. Appreciate her too. But yeah, brother, it's sad that we side with these people until till death. Till death.
Well, let's jump into this thing, Chaz. And the first thing that we want to discuss is this: why is social media beefing useless? And why don't you take this one and then I'll help you out with that? Because it says the answer to it. Why is it useless? Is because there is rarely a resolution. So you're saying, Chaz, that this thing, it never stops.
It doesn't. It may even stop, brother, for like a week or a month, but then you'll find within a year or two, somebody will spark it back up again. They'll get on Twitter and they'll put, remember when such and such happened? And then two Negroes will start going. And I'm glad that you put this up, brother. I sent you that. I don't want the audience to know because, brother, when I was growing up, if you are an OG, which I consider myself one, we watched this beef 50 Cent versus the game, Ja Rule versus 50, Jay-Z, brother. We watched, there was about 8 or 9 of these on BET because I remember late at night watching this. And all the foul things that came out of these guys' mouths. I mean, brother, it really had you hooked. And I caught myself at school the next day trying to pick someone out in the classroom to beat with. So, but yes, it's ridiculous how these movie companies and MTV and BET, they're marketing this because they know a lot of us blacks, we flock to
Yeah,
this.
we love it. And there is rarely a resolution. Like you said, there's like different videos that you share with me where they're on their sixth video beefing. And it's not just rappers, it's comedians now, it's entertainers, it's our family members. Chaz, I want to ask you a question. No, I really want you to deal with this question when it comes to this beefing. Why aren't more of us adults? Why aren't we exposing this stuff? Because we're the ones who are what we say. We're fanning this fuel and making this fire bigger. Why are we not talking about it like you and I are? Why are we being involved in this, man?
Because, brother, I hate to say this. I would probably say 80% of us, we love it. Brother, we love it.
Whoa,
We got our
whoa, whoa,
notifications
whoa!
on. We have
What?
our email signed up.
Come on,
Anything you
Chaz.
can think of that will alert you to let you know when a celebrity or rapper or athlete is beefing, we're in for it, brother. And that's why we're not talking about it because it's something that we all indulge in. And if you're not careful, once again, it'll have you gossiping about this stuff day in and day out.
Well, social media beefing is useless is because social media beefing is a waste of time and energy. You mean to tell me that grown people like us, I want to say grown A people, but grown people like us, we have nothing better to do than to spend and waste and mess our minds up with this beefing, and we don't see this. It's like we have some mental issue. And what this beefing is, Chaz, is it's an assault on the mind.
Yeah.
It's an assault on the mind. And
Yeah.
most of us don't talk about these comedians that's beefing and try to stop watching it, and these entertainers and these celebrities and these rappers, because we're afraid and we've gotten so hooked on these people. We like these people, man. We're afraid, so we won't say anything about these people, as opposed to being the growner people saying, this has got to stop, man. It's got to stop.
I agree with you 1,000%. It is a waste of time and energy. When you look at, if you calculate on the internet how many hours we sit back, brother, not all of the beef, just for one beef. When I say one beef, I'm talking about, for example, Kevin Hart versus Cat Williams. Just one beef alone can take up a day. All the stuff that they're saying, all the videos, all the text messages, even some of the wives and fiancés are.
Oh, bro, come on, Jazz, come on, man.
So, I mean, brother, it's a lot. And I want to read this comment real quick. Sister Barbara puts, it gets worse when the media owners started paying them for their beef. She's right. And I talked about that earlier. BET, MTV, CNN, all these networks, they're funding this.
Oh, you're exposed, Jazz. You have never exposed people the way you're exposing them today. And I gotta be careful messing around with you, because you're giving names and you're giving dates, and you're telling me that the social media beefing is a waste of time and energy, but yet we're the ones who keep it going, and we ought to be. Chaz, listen. We can stop it in a heartbeat. In other words, when I say we, all we got to do is stop looking at it. But you got people like junkies who live for this mess, because we have a lot of messy people in the African American community. Yes. And this is what they live for. We live for always wanting to see what Jay-Z said about this person, or what Beyonce said about that person, or what Cat Williams said. So we love this. I told you on last week, over 80 million views Shannon Sharpe got when he interviewed Cat Williams. So you know that it's only 60 million of us African Americans in the United States. So you know most of us are indulging in that. And we're hypocrites because we don't want to deal with the fact that this social media beefing is useless, man. It's a waste of time, and it's an waste of energy.
I just want to say this real quick, brother, and I'll get to what's on our screen for the elders, because I know a lot of elders in the 60s, 70s, 80s will say, well, I don't listen to rap, or I don't watch sports. Yeah, you may not, but the politics, they even got them involved. When I say the politics, I'm talking, there's a sister, and I'm seeing her everywhere. Fannie Willis and her bald-headed husband, or, I mean, I'm sick of seeing her and Trump going back and forth. That's the newest one for the elders. So for all the old folks, if you don't listen to rap, you don't watch sports, Fannie Willis and Trump is the newest one, and him and Nikki Haley. I mean, this stuff it's just nonsense.
Chaz, I've been doing these videos with you for I don't know how long, and man, tonight there's something on you. I can see it all through the screen. You're hot, man. I'm gonna let you carry this thing, because I'm gonna sit back and go for the ride, because you are exposing these people, and I'm glad that you're not afraid like most of these hypocrites are, because we love them. You talk about Denzel, or you talk about a woman or a man that we don't even know, and people get angry instead of saying, this is just childish, man. It is nonsense, but nobody wants to expose them. But it seems like you're taking this bull by the horn, and you're telling me that social media beefing is useless because it's time consuming. This all you have to do with your time is to sit around and grab a phone and look at this crap.
Yes, brother. A lot of us, like I said, we're bored. We don't have anything to do, or sometimes we come home from work and we feel like we jump on the internet, and that's really most of what floods the timeline is what these actors and stuff are doing. And I'm gonna pause real quick and read this last comment. Sister Barbara writes, I indulge in it to some degree. When it's beneath me, I turn it off. Too much drama. Yes, and here's the thing. Nobody in America can avoid it, because you're gonna see it some shape or fashion. But my thing is not to, like you said, spend hours upon hours and then just watching all these videos, and then you're waking up at night watching it. And then after you wake up at night, you go to sleep, you get back up in the morning, you back at it again. So, I mean,
it is time consuming. It is time consuming. Social media beefing is useless because social media beefing rather, it lacks productivity. We are not productive, man. This is not productivity. This is improductivity. When we sit around and act like little kids, and like you mentioned, this ain't just the young folk doing this.
Right.
These are people your age and my age and older and a little bit younger, because we are lonely inside, and I'm gonna say it. We are lonely inside, and we're reaching out for love. This is why many of us are like hound dogs. Now, let me tell you what I mean by that. We're like, now, I'm not calling anybody a hound dog literally, but the point I'm making is many of us are like hounds, because when a hound dog goes hunting, it sniffs,
right,
it smells, it's seeking, it's searching, it's looking for something. And many of us are like that. We're looking for mess. We're going to our friends' page just to see what they post. We've got to comment. We've got to do something. We've got to show them. We've fallen in love with these people. We're flirting on the internet. We're so sick mentally. We don't see this, Chaz. And so this is what I'm saying. We are in an insane asylum in the United States of America. And most people don't want to admit it, but you're sick. I'm sick. Most of us are sick because we don't know how to turn this thing off, Chaz. What do you say about this that I'm talking about?
I'll even take it a step further, brother. There's things that we all have to do each day. And I'm sure there's some of us who have things we're supposed to do. And because we see two people on the internet, or even relatives, because our relatives are exposing each other at a high rate now than
whoa,
just watching all of what they're doing on the internet, the videos they're uploading, and it stops us from doing some of the simple tasks that we're supposed to be doing throughout the day. It's terrible.
Chaz, boy, read that, Chaz, because I want to say something about this one.
Okay, letter E. Social media beefing is a public spectacle. Go ahead.
It's a spectacle because it's a joke, Chaz. It's comedy at its best. It's degrading. It's clownish. It's buffoonery. It's imbecilic. It's nonsense.
Yeah.
It's moronic. Any words you can think of that shows this. And this is what I'm saying. Many of us don't want to accept this, but we have turned this thing into a spectacle. And this is why you got to comment every time you see a post. This is why I got to make sure that I put a thumbs up or something when somebody posts, because we have a sick, I want to use the word A, but I got to keep watching myself because there may be kids watching.
Kids, right.
But we have a sick A mindset, Chaz, because many of us, we can't look at something and say, that's beautiful and leave it alone. We have to look for mess. We've got to post. We've got to let our boyfriends and girlfriends on the internet that we want, that they don't care about us. But we're so lonely. We're so helpless. We have to post everything. In fact, Chaz, you mentioned it. Some of us wake up in the night looking for something like that hound dog, looking for something to like, because we have a problem, man.
Yeah,
we have a problem.
Yeah, and I'll just real quick, the beef. Especially if you go to our barbershops, nail salons, hair salons, that's really where most of it is at. Because for the most part, there is a little small discussions here and there, but for the most part, it's about what is going on social media, and it's just quite ridiculous, bro. It really is. You got letter F on the screen.
You go for it.
Social media beefing takes an emotional toll on those involved.
Yeah. The mind, Chaz. Okay, here's the deal. After a while, you would think that we would say, I'm done with this. Right. I'm too old for this. But we're coming on stronger and stronger as we get older. And so it has taken an emotional toll on us. So now we got wrapped up in the beef, as you said you did in high school. Now you're taking sides, and now you're walking around like you're somebody's promoter, talking about these people. You don't know them. You're sitting around acting like a kid, a little spoiled brat. And so we have gotten this emotional toll that has been taken on our souls because we won't stop, man. We have been besieged in the mind. We have been sacked in the mind, and we have been devastated. And most people don't want to admit this, but Chaz, I'm going to say this. I'm going to let you have this.
Okay.
To be honest with you, Chaz, I'm going to say it like this.
Okay.
I feel sorry for us. I feel sorry for us as a people. I really do. It's too advanced for us to be getting caught up in these beefs that Cat Williams doesn't like Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey doesn't like Cat Williams. Cat Williams doesn't like the little guy, Kevin Hart. Monique and what's his name? I mean, it's everywhere. Monique and DL Hughley. It's Chaz. Come on, man. Will somebody stop this, or won't we stop it?
It won't be stopped. And like you said,
it won't be stopped.
It won't. It's an emotional toll too, brother, because there's some beefs that I've seen on the internet. It's gotten so bad. These people's children's, because people stalking now.
Come on,
They've had to remove these people's children and put them in a different school, brother. You know how some of these stalkers are. They're so obsessed with these people to where they're literally trying to harm these people's families, so they have to move them to different schools, and they don't care. I mean, these people are ruthless.
Chaz, last week we talked about the dangers of it, like you mentioned. Now, the Tupac and Biggie situation, that's just one. A lot of them didn't make the news like that. But a lot of us, we're killing one another over something that's so sad. I'm from the West Coast. You from the East Coast. If I see you on the East Coast and I'm from the West Coast, I'm going to blow your brains out. Or I'm siding with this rapper. I'm siding with this comedian. Chaz, there's murders going on all over the world, and we're involved in that because our minds have been taken from us. Our minds are, it's as if we're in an insane asylum, a hospital for people that have mental illness. This is a mockery of the mental forces, and someone has to show that we have to tell these people, stop it. I'm not watching you. When I turn on my phone, if I'm addicted to it, once I hear you talking about somebody else, I'm going to shut you down. I'm going to turn it off. I don't need it. And I'm not going to comment on every post you make. I'm not going to look for you, Chaz. Let me see what Chaz says and put something on it so you can know that this is nonsense, man.
Brother, it's to me, the simplest way to cut all this out, and I know nobody's going to do this, but to me, this is the basic, simplest way. If you follow any celebrity, rapper, whoever on the internet, and you know they're known for beef, they're known to start drama, they're known to start chaos, I would just suggest going to the unfriend button and just unfriend them. It's over with. After you unfriend them, you won't see any more posts. You won't see no more of that.
Okay, you just wasted your words. Let me stop you. You just wasted your words. Ain't nobody gonna go and unfriend nobody because we're proud. We're proud to tell people, I'm following so and so. I'm following these people. So we want you to know that we're caught up in this mess. We're caught up in this bull. You know what? We're caught up in all of this nonsense. And so adults that really should know better should be showing these kids. We shouldn't be engaging in this, but the adults are the ones that's keeping it going, you see, because we grew up with these people when we were children, and now they're older and we're older, and we can't let them go because we feel as though we can identify with them. These people don't care about you, man. They don't care about me, but because of a small mind, the small mind doesn't know any better, so it has become what is called a vortex. What do you mean by that? What am I saying? I'm saying that a vortex is a whirlpool or a whirlwind, but guess what it's a whirlwind of?
What?
It's a whirlwind of madness.
Wow.
It's madness, man.
Wow.
It's madness, guys. And most of us are so sick, we can't see that this is something that we should not engage in. Look at this. Look at what's on the screen. This says beef what? Beef 4. So you mean to tell me that this has been going on? I mean, it's like a series.
Yeah, it's brother. And those are just a few that I shared with you. And as I talked to you earlier before the show, there's 8, 9, 10, 11. There's so many parts.
Whoa, that many of them?
And there's so many other of the rappers. Now, this one was The Game. This one was based on The Game and 50 Cent. The Game got kicked out of G Unit. And The Game felt like 50 Cent gypped him. So The Game took it to another level. I mean, it is ridiculous. And like I told you earlier, brother, after beef number 11, it even gets to the point to where I just had to sit there and scratch my head because I'm wondering how much longer can a man just tear down another man's family? How much? What more else is there to say? I mean, you said everything in the book. What else is there to say?
Well, let me say this then. You said what else is there to say? If you just tuned into this broadcast, it's called Adults Only. The gentleman that you see that's not speaking now, his name is Chaz. I am your big brother, Jahi. And we're talking about tonight a discussion that you should tune into, which is African Americans beefing on social media. This is our second part to this. And many of us are just hiding behind our phones because we know that we're engaged in this. We going like little high school kids, you know,
Right.
keep the mess going. As old as we are, Chaz, and I keep telling you what it goes back to. It goes back to a lonely person, a person, who is lonely in heart, a person who's lonely in mind, a person who has to have someone. They've got to show you that they're following you. They've got to show you that they like you. They've got to take sides with these people. These are some sick people, and people don't want to admit it, but we're all wrapped up in it. And now let me give this to you, and I'm going to throw you a curve right now.
Okay.
We're talking about the beefing on social media. But Chaz, what about the beefing that's going on in your family?
Brother, we talked about that, and I told you time and time again, I hate what it's come to where if I have a beef or a small conflict with my Uncle Chris, I can't talk or call Chris on the phone and say, you know what, I don't agree with you. We're uploading this man's shortcomings on the internet. We're uploading this man's kids' shortcomings on the internet, commenting every 5 seconds about how and when he was in middle school, what the negative stuff he used to do and the stuff he got caught up in. It's ridiculous. And I just want to read real quick, Sister Saladin.
Yeah.
She says, peace and blessings. Yes. But yes, brother, the family social media beef is at a high that I've never seen. And I'm frustrated with it because I was brought up on just calling each other and talking it out. But now it's all over Facebook. And then listen, brother, I'm going to just take it one step further, and I promise I'll give it back. There is siding with the family now. If me and Ron are beefing in the family, Grandma may be on Ron's side. Cousin may be on my side. And it goes to a point, brother, where I won't speak to my grandma because she's on Ron's side.
Come on, Chaz. You are teaching tonight. You are preaching tonight. This is some beautiful words to my ears because we need to hear this and we've got to stop this. And here's what's so funny about the whole situation. Here's what's so ironic about it. Here it is. Most of us want people, when they die, we say, rest in peace. But we want to live in mess. See, we want the dead and the deceased to die in peace, rest in peace. But when we live in, we raise a whole lot of hell, you see, and we don't want to live in peace, but we want somebody to rest in peace. How hypocritical is that? Because social media beefing is addicting, man. Like a person who has to have a cigarette, like a person who has to drink, like me, who likes to eat and can't keep food out my mouth. Oh, we got to tell on everybody tonight, Chad. We cannot tell on just, we got to tell on everybody. A person who likes sweets, a person who likes salt, a person who won't drink water, a person who won't work out, a person who won't saturate their mind with truth. We are addicted to this. And Chaz, I keep telling you this, but I'm gonna say it again, and I won't say it again today if I can remember, but I want to say this. Chaz, I feel sorry for us, man. Yeah. I feel sorry for people after all we've been through. Now the top story is what Jay-Z done said about Diddy. This is the top story in our lives. As old as we are, we won't read, we won't study, we won't meditate, we won't live out the things that we all claim to be in these books that we all look at. We won't live the life. So we want to be messy. We want that positive energy. You know, and vibration. Oh, come on, Chad. You know it's true. We want that positive vibration. But here's what has happened, and I promise you, I'm gonna let you talk about this addiction. Okay. What has happened is this: all this beefing on social media, it has laid siege to the heart. It has laid siege to the heart. Somebody has to say it, Chad. Someone has to say it. Wow. Take it away. Take it away.
As you mentioned how addicting it is, like I said, I'm willing to bet you, brother, if there was a challenge, because everybody loves to do these challenges. There was a challenge to where we couldn't get on the internet to see none of this stuff for about a few days. I know we would lose our minds. And then on top of that, how addicting it is, it's like when we don't have it, we're cranky. We're constantly chasing. We're constantly looking for something or someone that's in conflict. I've never seen a country where there's so much people who are obsessed with other people's shortcomings and just that love conflict. But yes, brother, it is addicting because once you say it, it's all we talk about. It's all we look for. And if we don't have it, it's like we're a fiend or a junkie.
Okay, well, you take this one away because I know you want to say something about this.
Most of us are too old to be beefing on social media. Brother, I've made myself clear on this point, and I'll just say it one last time, is like you said. if there is any kind of issues that we don't agree with, that's fine. But quit blasting it on social media. It's not the world's, it's not for them to know what such and such is doing. It's not for the world to know this man's shortcomings. I just don't like that we're almost 70, 80, 90, 100 years
Come on,
old.
Chaz. Come on, Chaz.
And it's like, this is what we're doing. And we're even, if our lives are what you would call dry, we're fishing for some kind of entertainment. So we'll just go start some beef on social media to get popping, as they say.
Let me dive into this water of truth that you have just said. I want to dive into this water of truth. So I'm going to get off. I'm going to drive off the diving board right now. I'm going to spring off of it. And here's what I'm going to do when I spring. I want to say this, Chaz, when you are in your teens,
right,
these types of things go on at school. You know, you don't like Sally. You don't like Fred. Okay, y'all beefing. And then as you get older, you begin to see that was nothing.
Right.
But here we are, as you mentioned, in our 30s, our 40s, our 50s, our 60s, our 70s, our 80s. I'm going to stop at 80, but I'm probably cutting myself short. And we are still looking at these things on social media, giving them legs. So we see that we have a problem. It's a problem somewhere. There's a problem. We are disconnected from the true spirit in us because we have allowed these things to cut us off, man. And now we have gotten to the point, as you said earlier, where now we begin to take sides. And if I'm on Monique's side and I tell you what I've seen, and you tell me you on D.L. Hughley's side, now you and I are beefing.
Yeah.
It's just some madness, man.
Yeah. And I just have to keep putting this up because I cannot forget this. And this is for some of the sports people who may not be aware, brother. And I know you're aware of this. There was a fan who was a Dodgers fan. I want to say this was about 4 or 5 years ago. This Dodger fan spent this hard-earned cash to go to the opposing team's arena. Do you know that a fan didn't like this man's Dodgers jersey? So the fan flipped this man off of, let's just say, a 20-foot high seats. Killed this man because he had on the Los Angeles Dodgers jersey. I can't.
I think I got a challenge. I got a challenge right here, Chaz. What that say?
Sister Barbara says, "Big brother Ja, can you elaborate on Siege to My Heart? Thank you."
Okay. Now, what I'm saying when I say a siege on the heart, I'm using metaphoric language or figurative language. Okay. What I'm trying to say is that our heart stands for the seat of emotions and will. It stands for understanding. It stands for wisdom and insight in the things that we should be doing. When we get caught up in social media beefing, it's as if it's an army that has come into our hearts and laid siege to capture us. And so now we are prisoners, brother. We are prisoners, sisters. We are prisoners, kings and queens. We are prisoners to the beefing. We are prisoners to social media. We are under a control. We're spellbound. So now our hearts have been captured as if it's a war. And I hope I've done that justice. And all I'm saying is I'm using figurative language to show that a lot of us has been arrested in the heart. And we have allowed the internet. We have allowed social media. We have allowed our friends to come in and take our hearts away from us. And now we are prisoners of the moment. Prisoners of the moment.
Brother, that deserves, as you will call, a mic drop. You took that really, really deep. I really appreciate that. That was a handful. The next point on the screen says practical ways to not be a part of social media beefing. Number one, be willing to take a stand against this kind of back and forth on the internet.
What you got, Chad? What you got on that?
Well, I've made myself clear earlier on the broadcast. If you have people that you're following on social media, unfriend them.
They're not going to do it, even though in theory you're right. They're not going to do it. Chaz, when your mind is now, this point is for people that's going to do it. So this is what we're saying to those who will do it. But to a many, they're not going to take a stand because that means you got to stand up and say, I'm not down for this arguing back and forth. We African Americans have many problems in this country. And that is one that we don't need. We can alleviate that. But these grown A people, they're not going to take a stand and say, I don't want to hear Monique. I don't want to hear Cat Williams. I don't want to hear Steve Harvey because we watch his show every day. See, we watch Family Feud. We listen to Nephew Tommy. See,
Right.
we listen to we love these things, and we have got these people to where they have got into our minds, man. And so now we don't want to take a stand, because if you stand up and say we need to stop watching this stuff and it'll go away, somebody is going to call you an MFer because you took a stand.
Let me ask you one quick question, brother. I'll pass it back, and I'm gonna give you my input on it. How much, if you could put a percentage out of 100%, how much of the percentage of it would you say that is fake, stage, or for script, for cash, or for tour buses and all that kind of thing? What percentage would you say if it's beef and fake? I would say, to me, and I could be off, I think 60% of it is fake. The other 40% of it is real, because think about it, brother. These are multi-millionaire and billionaires. So I think they're in it just to create a buzz and to create cash. Now, let me just make it clear too. Let me separate. Now, the social media beef with our family, I would put
real.
that at a 70% being real, and a 30% of it is fake. Now, that I believe is more real than the entertainment part of it.
Now I'm gonna throw this hot potato back in your lap. You threw it in my lap, I'm gonna throw it back in your lap. I'm gonna ask you one basic question, and then I'm gonna deal with you.
Okay.
Do you think WWE, that wrestling, do you think that's real, or do you think that's fake?
1,000% fake. Everybody knows that.
The point I'm making is a lot of this beefing is fake, and we know it. But how many people go to these WWE events? They pack.
Come on now.
They pack the arena out. We live in San Antonio, Texas. The other day I was coming back, and I noticed traffic was stacked about 2 miles long. And I said, what is going on? The Spurs aren't playing. It was a WWE main event taking place at the AT&T Center. So all these people know that it's fake. But when you grab a Negro's mind, when you grab somebody's heart, they're going to get involved in this. And this is why I keep saying that many of us are like hounds, searching, sniffing, smelling, seeking, looking for more and more mess. We're always on the prowl, Chaz, trying to find some mess to get into. They know that WWE wrestling is fake, but they're going to go there. They know that some of this beefing is fake, but they're going to continue to take sides. So we have to be willing to do what this screen is saying, and you're going to lose some friends. I'm going to tell you now, you're going to lose some family members. You're going to have to come to grips where you're going to have to take a stand. You're not going to be popular. Nobody's going to like you, but you're going to have to be able to do that, Chaz. And I'm telling you now, we have to do this part here.
Number 2, try a digital detox. Plan periods where you intentionally stay away from beasts when you recognize them. Now, like I said, brother, and I'm going to just take this real quick and I'll pass it back. Like I said, barbershops, nail salons, this is where, to me, they're mostly discuss all the beefs and who's doing what and why they're doing it. I just want to say this. If you do plan on doing a digital detox, that is fine. But, brother, here's where the issue comes in at. Let's say Sally digital detoxes for a week. When Sally comes back, she is up for about 2 or 3 weeks because she's trying to recover all she missed. So
Chaz, cut that out. Cut that out, Chaz. Cut all that mess out.
But it's the truth, brother. And I just want to say this. It's okay saying, you know what? Some of these posts, there's some things in life I'm going to miss. I can't see and keep up with every magazine, every TV show, there's some things I'm going to miss. So for the posts that I do miss, okay. But brother, you know this is serious. When that person comes back from that detox, oh boy, it's on then. It's terrible then.
Yeah, and you know what? The people that are watching this, we love you to death.
Yes.
We love you. This broadcast can be seen every Wednesday. You have to watch this. You have to look at these kind of broadcasts, because these broadcasts are dealing with real issues, and we're giving you the antidote to get out of these issues. We're not just putting the issues out here like many people and messy. We're showing you how to get away from this nonsense. And here's another thing we can do. We can guard our minds against atrophy, which is a gradual decline in effectiveness or vigor due to undue underuse or neglect of your mental faculties. What am I saying again? What I'm saying, and this is saying, atrophy is something that happens to the mind, Chaz. If you don't put the right things in your mind over the years, it's like older people. Our muscles, after so many years, we lose the strength. And people say, well, your muscles sagging. Okay, that happens to all of us. So we need to go lift the little weights, not the heavy ones. Do something to keep those muscles firm. The brain is like that also. So a lot of people are suffering with atrophy right now because they have a decline in the brain and they don't know it. They don't realize it. They think it's funny. They think it's cute, but they're struggling and they don't see the seriousness of our conversation. You see, they think this is a joke, man. But many people have lost everything they have in their mental capacities because now you can't tell them to stop because their minds are so far gone that it has destroyed them.
And I just want to touch on that and I'll move on to the next one, brother. With this time that we're in now, with these 5G towers, all this stuff being up, lithium in these phones, when you sit there, and this is just basic, and I promise I'll move on. When you sit there and you hold this phone 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours, 11 hours throughout the day, watching all that stuff, reading all this stuff, brother, with all that radiation flooding in, you don't know how terrible that is impacting your brain. And like you said, when you're not doing any reading, you're not doing any searching or crossword puzzles, anything like that. When you're not doing these things, your mind will waste away. So what I am trying to get people to understand is it's okay to be on the phone, but don't be on it for that long because all these towers that are coming in at us, it's coming in at a high rate and it's tearing our minds to shreds.
It really is. Go ahead with that one, Chaz. What that say?
Number 4, don't get caught up in the nonsense that other people are having. Yes, like some people back in the day, I thought this is what they used to say. Stay out of other people's business. It is not your business what this man is doing. Leave it alone. Even though you may hear about it, but don't start, jaw jacking. And then there's some of us who may throw our chest in there and, say something. We got Brother Ray on. He commented. We appreciate it. But go ahead, big brother.
Yeah, we're too old to get caught up in because it's nonsense, man. What T.I. is doing with someone else and beefing, I have nothing to do with that. You see what I'm saying? What Monique and all these people have, these comedians, not only comedians, these rappers, these entertainers, these athletes, I have nothing to, Chaz, I don't know these people. But because we've gotten caught up in it, we now have taken sides, and now we want people to know I'm with Diddy now. I'm with Diddy, And so we're starting to talk about these other people like we know them.
All right, like we were there.
Yeah, like it shows that we have stooped, man. Right. We have stooped to an all-time low in the United States of America and all over the world, but we must speak in the context of where we are setting. So we have stooped to a low level to where we don't even want to say anything negative. All these people that we're having watching this broadcast, many of them will not comment because they're afraid. And when I say comment, they will not even comment and say amen. They won't comment and say you're right. They're going to hide behind their cell phone because as soon as they get done watching us, they're going to run in that room and go see what Kevin Hart said.
No, they not, brother. No, they not. They may be getting ready to cook dinner and go to bed for work. Get ready for
80 million hits from Shannon Sharpe and Cat Williams. You cannot tell me that we are not watching this stuff. We are, man. We really are.
Yes, and like you said, it's at a high rate. And I forgot that you mentioned that 80 million people had tuned in for that. That just goes to show you, mostly all of America is involved in this crap.
Yes. White, black, brown, red, green, yellow, purple, pink. It doesn't matter. Here's something I want to talk about, and I'll give this one back to you. These are tips that we're trying to show people that we can stop this if we do these things. Number 5, quit allowing social media beefs to be the gist of your conversation. What do I mean by that? This is what I mean. When you see me and you haven't seen me in a few days and you say, "What's up, big brother Jahi?" Instead of me saying, "Hey, man, I got to work out more because I'm losing muscle mass. I got to drink more water because I'm not getting enough water. I got to stay away from red meat. I got to stay away from salt. I got to exercise." Right. Instead of me telling you that when you say how you doing, I'm going to say, "Man, Cat Williams ought to be ashamed of himself." And you go, "What do you mean?" So then I'm going to start saying, "Man, do you know that in so-and-so didn't pay Cat Williams? Did you know Steve Harvey and them, they dissed the brother that's dead?" So it's like we brothers, we sisters, we are the ones that are keeping this going on because that's all we talk about. All we talk about is the things that's going on social media. And that's why I say we're sick, because a lot of us, we have friends on social media. And they're messy. And some of them are not. So we go to their page, or when they put something on social media, here go the hound dog sniffing. So we want to see what it said, you see. So then when we see what's said, we want to put a thumbs up.
Yeah.
We want to put a smiling face, or we want to comment so they can see I'm down with you.
Right.
When it doesn't need that, man. Take this thing away, Chaz, because you hot tonight. I can't touch you tonight.
Well, you kind of took what I was going to say, but like you said, when we meet or catch up with an old relative or schoolmate, it's okay to say, "Hey, man, how you doing?" But like you said, instead of telling them the important things like, "Hey, I need to start taking more vitamin C. I need to increase my CMOS." Instead of saying that, like you said, we're talking about because the newest one, and I had to put this one in there. The newest one is that I guess Puff Daddy and Meek Mill. So we tell them about that instead of telling them about our vitamins, exercise, reading, our injuries, things to that, more serious things to life. And like you said, this, for the most part, if you take the average individual, this is what they talk about. It's all this social media gossip. It is horrible, brother. It's terrible.
It is.
Brother Ray came in. We appreciate it. He says, I'm selective about what I watch. Yet I'm not always serious and have interest in many different topics, from entertainers to the elder scholars.
Let me deal with that because I want to deal with the words that he uses, and I get what Brother Ray is saying.
Okay.
There's nothing to have people that you follow on social media that's serious. Mm-hmm. Tonight's subject, Chaz, if I'm not mistaken, look at the bottom. Tonight's subject is African Americans beefing on social media. This is the second part. Mm-hmm. So we're talking about the beefing in the context of this discussion. Mm-hmm. So if a person is engaged in that, we're saying that you have to watch that. That's dangerous. Right. So we all have scholars and elders and entertainers and sports athletes. We're not talking about them. And I know Brother Ray isn't talking about that either. But what I'm saying is the context, man. The context is we've got to stop a lot. See, this is what I mean. Someone has to stand up and say, even when I do it, you have to tell me, Big Brother Jahi, you're too old to be talking about this stuff every 24 hours. You know, you're too old. See, that's what I'm saying. And we don't want to say that. See, we want to say, well, this is what we do, and we want to sugarcoat. And listen, we all follow people. And a lot of these people are good people. People follow us. But you notice, man, we're always talking about subject that we need to talk about to help people, because this African Americans beefing on social media, that is a huge problem. And I'm going to be one of the first to say it. I don't care whether people like it or not. It's a problem, Chaz. And we have to stop watching this stuff because that's going to make it go away.
Yeah, and I'll put myself in there as well. Anybody who has a social media, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, YouTube, any kind of app that you're on, you cannot avoid this. This is something that we're all going to see. We're just saying, if you see it, minimize it. Don't live and die with it.
That's all you can do.
Eat and drink and live and bathe in is what
that's the context, brother. That's the context. Read this one, Chaz, because I want we talk about this one too.
Number 6, recognize the negative impact that all of this beefing has on our minds. Yes, it will. Like I told you, and I was joking when I said this, but it is serious. When you catch yourself indulging at this at a high level, day in, day out, night in, night out, you will catch yourself trying to, a lot of us, relive some of this stuff out, play some of this stuff out against some of our other people that we may not like. And it will, sometimes it'll have you cranky, it'll have you grouchy, it'll have you bitter, because I believe once you feed the mind all that nonsense, your body is going to react this stuff out. So yes, it's important to not dump all this stuff in our minds like that.
And I want somebody to challenge me right now, because I'm telling you, this has to be said. If this isn't negative, Chaz, the point says recognize the negative impact that all this beefing has on our minds. Okay. So what I'm asking is, if this is positive, somebody tell me, how is it positive for me to talk about you for the next 4 months, talk about your mama, talk about your daddy, talk about your life, talk about your children, talk about their shortcomings, talk about your economics, tease you about your education? If that's not negative, Chaz, see, we're so screwed up right now as the people in the mind. And that's all of us. It's not just the people that's listening to this. It's not just the people at large. I'm saying as a group of people, we're so messed up. We can't call negativity. Mm-hmm. We, you know, that's like the word "in." You know, at one time we wanted no one to call us that. Now we call each other that.
Right.
So we have become the victims of what we have been dealt with from the very beginning of our stages of being here. And so I'm saying, who's going to defend this? Only a idiot. And I'm not calling none of the people that's watching this. Only an idiot would say that it's not negative. Chaz, this is negative, and we know it's negative, but we don't want to be honest about what's really going on. So it takes a grown man, it takes a grown woman, it takes a serious-minded person to say this stuff is not right, it's wrong.
Brother, let me ask you a question real quick, and then I'll raise comment. Let me ask you something. When did it become so evil and no? Let me take that word out. Disrespectful. Back in the day, when two people had a disagreement, it was just between them and that person. Them and that person. That's how it used to be. Then, upon a time, it got to the point where instead of it just being you and that person, that man's brother, that man's grandmother, that man's father. When did it become so disrespectful instead of just keeping it eye to eye? Is my question to you.
When we tried to be like other people, and when we lost respect for each other. We lost respect for each other a long time ago. And now you can see the disrespect when teenagers are calling their relatives B's and H's, or they answering when grandchildren are fighting their grandparents. See, when sons and daughters are talking about their mothers and fathers like they're their best friends in a negative way. So this is what I'm saying. I'm gonna read Raymond's comment, and I want to see what he's talking about. He says, sadly, disagreeing with most Black people, no matter how respectful or polite you may do it. Many Black people think disagreeing is bad and they get hostile. He's right. He's right about that. But the beefing, I gotta, Chaz, I don't care how angry you get with me. If you're into this, I'm going to share with you out of love, man, that you have to stop this. Right. Because see, I'm not going to be a hypocrite and talk about you behind your back. Mm-hmm. So I don't care. I don't care what people think about me. I don't care what people say about me. I'm on a mission, man. I don't have that much time left on this earth. So I have to do all the positive things that I can. And sometimes that means that people are going to get hostile. They're going to be angry. Listen, my family as a whole, they could give two hoots about me. No, but it's all good though. It's all good though. It's all good, because what I'm trying to get at is this. I don't live for them, man. I don't live for what people say about me. I don't care what they say about me. I don't care what they think about me. I love them to death. But I'm not going to get caught up in, well, I can't say something because you're going to be hostile. I can't say something. But he's making a point that we do get angry because we don't know how to argue and disagree. Yeah. So we got to it.
And I'm going to take a step farther. And I hate to keep saying back in the day, but brother, it seems like those are more real times, real people. Here's what I'm going to say real quick. What happened to when we beef? You say, you know what? Even if there is a scuffle, we fight, we shake hands and say, you know what? That's it. We talk to each other. There's some of us, when you have beef, brother, we will not speak to you ever again. We don't want to see you, talk to you, hear nothing from you. And like I said, even at the basketball courts back in the day, there was plenty of fights, but they were just fights. They shook hands after it was over with, and they were best buddies after that, brother. And they lived to have a happy life. But now, most of us, when you beef with us, we don't want nothing to say to you ever again.
I got something better than that. You might get your brains blown out. If you beef with someone, you might get your brains blown out. Because because sometimes when you argue with people, like I never understood this. We go to a party. Oh yeah, the music is playing, and I'm dancing to the Isley Brothers, For the Love of You. Oh, I'm grooving, and I step on somebody's brand new shoes, and the next thing I know, they done blown my brains out. Because, man, this is how silly we get. Because I stepped on their shoes, and this is what we are promoting now. This beefing. If I say what's up, Chaz, and you don't tell me about a beef, I don't want to talk to you. Because I'm messy. I'm childish. I'm immature. But we don't like this kind of language because we like to always tell people, well, it's not that bad. It's bad when you have 40-something million people in this country that looks like us, and the majority of our world has to be looking at a screen where two grown men, or a grown man and a grown women, or two grown women are going back and forth, and we say nothing about that. We don't take a stand for that. And that's wrong, man. That's wrong.
It's absolutely, and I'm going to speed it up real quick. We got number 7 on the screen. Learn how to disengage from this mess. Know how to walk away from all the beefing constantly happening on social media. Once again, that's why, like we said earlier, for people who may just be tuning in, learn how to digital detox from social media. I think if anybody who has a social media account, it's important. If it's 2 days, 3 days, take some time off from this, because once you take time off, I've heard a lot of people say, brother, that they feel better, they feel rejuvenated, they feel a lot better when they come back.
Poo-hoo on that stuff. Whatever you're talking about. Nobody listening to you, Chaz. Some of these people. Now, I'm being funny. So those who say, Jahi, you being hard tonight, quit being childish and immature. I'm having fun, because some people will, and they need to learn how to disengage. So everything you said is right, Chaz. So I agree with you. But there are some of us, I didn't say all, there are some of us, no matter what you say, they're going to look on that phone to see what somebody posted, because we are addicted, man. And this is what we're saying now. Now, Ray had something to say. He said he's traveling with me now. Ray's traveling with me. He says, I'm with you, Jahi. We are too old to worry about people not liking us. See, when you're young, and I'm not going to say dumb and full of bubble gum, but I just said it. When you're young, you want everybody to like you. Mm-hmm. You don't want to offend anybody. Mm-hmm. You don't want to step on anybody's toes. Mm-hmm. You want to be politically correct. You want to say all the right words. But when you really think about it, Chaz, when you get to a certain age, you love everybody. Right. You cannot live your life concerned about what other people say about you, but it's unfortunate because that's where we are now, because too many of us are in our 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and we're concerned about, they don't like me. So the next time I speak, they haven't told me that you and I ought to calm down on this broadcast. You know, we're always up in the air. Well, that's our personalities. Right. We're not change for you. If you want your broadcast, do your own broadcast. But we're trying to get people to see that we're too old for going out, he says, to bars and clubs. You know, he goes on to say it takes two to tango and this other one to de-escalate. So yeah, Chaz, we have some things going on. We only have a couple more points. So let's try to get to those before we close, which here's one. Then we got one more after this. Here we go.
Number 8. Practice self-improvement, and we won't have time to be worrying about all the beefing that is going on. Yes, there's always improvement for all of our lives. Like you said earlier, our health, exercise, drinking more water, taking more vitamins, reading more, getting out into the nature, getting your vitamin D. All these things are what you would call self-improvement. Maybe getting a better paying job. These are things that all can help us become better people. Having better communications with our family. Having better communication with our loved one, with our wife, with our husband, vice versa. These are all things that we need to be doing to help improve ourselves. And like it says on the screen, if we were practicing those self-improvement tips every day, we wouldn't have any time to be worrying about what Vivica Fox is saying about such and such. It would just be about us, like you said, constantly trying to self-improve ourselves. But I hate to say this, brother, I don't think most of us care about self-improvement.
Whoa, Chaz, really come on, man. Come on, Chaz.
We don't. We feel like if we have a couple of dollars in our pocket, we got some food, we good. Self-improvement, like you said, that we don't care about that. That's all we care about is a couple of dollars in our pockets.
And I know people don't like what I'm saying now, but I'm telling you the truth. I don't care what 50 Cent thinks about Ja Rule. You see, I don't care what Floyd Mayweather is saying about Cat Williams and other people and P. Diddy. Right. I don't care what Monique is saying about D.L. Hughley. I don't care what Jay-Z and his beefing partners are going through. See, I don't care what Beyonce, Nicki Minaj. I don't care about that, man. Now you say, well, you must care because you know a lot about them. Well, they're everywhere. I see the headlines. I'm not ignorant. I see the headlines. But self-improvement is the master of it all, Chaz. Teach your children to, when they come to you with that, put it in this perspective and say, mommy and daddy, we don't get involved in that because we're working on ourselves. Now in the conscious community, everybody's talking about, it's all about working on the self, but we don't know how to improve ourselves because we're still stuck in this thing. We're in the quagmire. You know, as I said, there's been an attack on our mind. We've been captured. And most of us adults, we don't want to have this discussion. That's why we're not committed to a serious broadcast. We're committed to nonsense. We don't want these kind of discussions. We don't want our children to have these kind of discussions. And so we all end up like people that are just traveling on a road, but we're going nowhere.
Let me ask you this. For the teenagers or elementary kids, do you think, or do you give them more of a pass for indulging in this type of behavior compared to the adults, or do you hold them responsible because you feel like the teenagers should know better at some point as well, especially if they're over the age of 15?
Well, no, I'm going to put this thing out here now, and I want everybody to listen to me. And you can think what you want to think, but a teenager's mind is not developed. That's why we call them teenagers. They're going from one stage to the next stage to the next stage. And what has happened is when the teenager gets caught up in this, in answer to your question, I look at the teenager like this is a part of what they do when they grow up because they don't know any better.
Right.
But a grown man like me, a grown man like you, grown women like me, you and I, we are the ones who I'm talking about because we are the ones that's keeping this going on. See, a teenager's going, when you were a teenager, when I was a teenager, we did silly things. That's a part of maturation. But I'm talking to these grown A people who sit around all day and look on this phone, trying to find what their friends said, trying to comment, want people to think they're into that, bragging about who they're following, wanting to know that what Monique is wrong, saying that D.L. Hughley is right. I'm on Cat Williams' side. I'm on Shannon Sharp's side. I'm on Jay-Z's side. I'm on Beyonce. See, these are the people I'm talking about. And most of us are too chicken, you know what? Too chicken, you know what? To be honest about in our own personal lives, Chaz.
Right.
The last point is, in our own personal lives, we don't always have to respond to what others say about us. Chaz, people have talked about me like a dog. I've heard that, but I'm not going to do a video on them, and I don't care. And if you believe what you hear about me, and they said this dude Jahi, he's selling dope, he's an alcoholic, you know, he curses like a sailor, you know, this and that, the other, and the third. If you believe that, when you see me, you can look upside my head and roll your eyes at me all you want to. Because if that's how you want to see me based upon what a gorilla told you, then that's what is going to happen. I could make videos on my own family because my family and people say, man, this guy's hurt. No, I'm not hurt. It's just that my family has drugged me through the mud, Chaz.
I hear you.
They don't even fool with me, but I'm not going to do a video about them. I'll just say that they're no good and that they're not, they need to continue to grow up, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm not going to do every time we do a broadcast, I'm not going to say my cousin so-and-so, do you know they doing this? Do you know their mama did this? Do you know their daddy did this? Do you know I'm not going to do that, man. But a lot of us are old, but we're young, Chad. We're old in numbers, but we're young in heart. And that's why this broadcast is not popular, man, because people want you to tell them what they want you to hear, and they want to stay away from these kind of subjects.
Yeah, and I'm gonna take it a step further real quick. I would say if we do the last part, ignoring what others have to say, I believe just that part in itself, even though the other person may be wrong, brother, if you ignore that person, that may be the difference, whether you keep or lose your life. It comes to that simple. But I don't think a lot of us have the discipline. We always feel like we got to get back. We got to have the last word. We got to be the bigger man. We got to be the bigger woman. If you stop trying to put out all these fires and go back and forth, just learn how to ignore. And like I said, you'll be a much better person, and it may save you your life. And I'm going to read this one real quick. Brother Ray chimed in. He says, right, a teenager is not at the age of consent. Absolutely. But yeah, but we always feel like we have to get the last word instead of ignoring.
That's a lack of discipline. And this is what I was saying earlier. This is where the mind has been encircled. And now social media has jumped into the wheel. It has taken the wheel capture. Now I know I'm using a lot of metaphoric language tonight, so just bear with me, people. I'm using a lot of lofty language. But this is what I'm trying to get people to see. The wheel has been encircled. And then social media beefing has jumped into the heart and taken the will captive. And now people that want to get out of this thing, they can't. So they look for their friends. They look for the boyfriends and their girlfriends on social media that these people aren't thinking about. You only give you time of day. So you've got to post. You've got to like it. You've got to comment. You've got to put a thumbs up. You've got to put a smiling face. You've got to show them that you're down with them, no matter what they say. And this shows, Chaz, that we as people, we have been besieged in the mind. And this is all I'm trying to get us to see. Social media beefing has done us disservice. And a lot of us don't want to say it, but we're all caught up in it. And that's why we don't want to say that we've been sacked in the mind. We've been devastated. This is a mockery of the mental forces. We are in an insane asylum. And a lot of us don't want to hear this, Chaz. Yeah. So we have to tell people that all of these points we made, these are the things we can do to get out of that if we're only serious about it. Now we have, in fact, Chaz, our time is up, man. It is up now.
Wow.
So I know we're not going to come back. So don't ask me every week. We're going to do the same thing. No, let's let this baby die.
I was just scared to ask you that too.
I know you are. We let this baby die. We've done 2 weeks on this, and we're not going to change people because I'm telling you now, most of us, we are already, our minds are set, you see. Right. And this is why people don't want to get into these kinds of broadcasts, because these are the kind of broadcasts that's going to help you. These are the kind of broadcasts that's going to give you information about the problem. Then we're going to give you some solutions. But a lot of times we don't want solutions because we want mess. We want Steve Harvey. We want Monique. We want Jay-Z. We want D.L. Hoogan. We want Kevin Hart. We want Denzel Washington. We want our favorite sports athletes. We want all these people that's singing on these shows where they're singing and their voices are we angry because somebody won the contest and we think somebody else should have won. So now we're angry because this is how messed up we have gotten. So Chaz, I'm going to let you, man, say some things and we'll close it out. But I definitely want you to talk about how African Americans beefing on social media has got to stop.
I would say this was a 2-week important topic about social media beefs. It's not always about tearing the next man down, tearing the next woman down. It's called surviving life. If you ignore these people, sometimes it'll be the difference if you keep or lose your life. Also, our family members, quit uploading all their shortcomings on social media. Quit tagging people in them to get people to chime in. Brother, I'm going to say this real quick. There's a thing on Facebook where you can tag people who may not even know that the beef is going on. You can tag them in it, and when you tag them, they'll be able to chime in on the beef. This is how bad it's gotten with this whole beefing situation. It's terrible. But back to the topic. It is not a good thing. This beef stuff will tear your mental health up. It'll have you cranky. It'll have you angry. It's just a horrible phase to be in. And then you'll wonder why you struggle with some things. Real quick, Brother Ray says, my apologies for missing the last few shows. I've been struggling with sleeping enough. We appreciate you, Brother Ray, for still coming on. You can always go back and watch the replay. But we hope you get you some good rest. But yes, it is a terrible phase to be in. And listen, quit being obsessed with what Vivica Fox and them are doing. When you see that, like I said, just zip right by it. Just scroll past it. I could go on and on. I was hoping that you were going to go for round 3 for something.
Oh, Chaz, no, man.
But I guess that's it. That's it for me tonight.
You can only say so much about a serious discussion, and I think we can talk about this till we're blue in the face. Most of us as adults, our minds are set. They don't care what you say. They don't care what I say. They don't care what these notes say. They're going to keep doing it because, as I told you earlier, our minds, man. We go to the restroom with the cell phone. We go to bed with the cell phone. We wake up with the cell phone. We're working with one hand and got the cell phone in the other. We're scrolling up and down. We're trying to find who said what. We're trying to find who said that. We're trying to see what we missed. We've got to comment on this. We are sick, man. We are sick. Brother Ray says to us, Imhotep, heaven to you both. And I say to him,
and I normally don't say this, and I just want to say this real quick because I know rundown. We really do appreciate Brother Ray. For the most part, this man comes on every other week, and he always is interested in this, and we appreciate brothers like him because he really is invested. But once again, brother, this social media beef, I think I'm gonna have to really just be angry at you that we can't do a round 3 for this. I think I think me and you may have beef now.
And that's how it normally starts. That's how it normally starts. The Queen says Shimotep. We say Shimotep to her. That's how the beef starts. When we disagree on something that's minor, like you say, that's a good example. Just because we won't do a third broadcast, you're right. And and you have a beef. So now you're going to do a broadcast about me. When they say, look, I'm not even going to see your broadcast, but somebody's going to call me and say, you better check your boy out. So I'm going to say, what you mean? You better go check him out. So I'm going to check your video out. And I see you calling me all kind of names because you're going to do the third beef. So then when I see that, I got to get ready for you. So now I got to do one on you, see? And then, Chaz, let's be serious, because I'm telling you now, man, this is a problem in our communities.
Oh, yeah.
This broadcast can be seen every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. There are many broadcasts that you should watch that are teaching the truth. This one is so practical, it's so pragmatic. You cannot afford, brothers and sisters, now, as people, to listen to something that's as practical as this, because you can walk away with this saying, the main thing I took away from this broadcast is I gotta stop getting involved in that, because once we stop looking at it, and if 80 million of us stop looking at these beefs, it's gonna go away. Then they have to find something else to come back with. But that's the problem. This is the from Raymond. It says, sadly, people talk bad about their family members on social media. Yeah, we covered that earlier. But Chaz, it's been a real pleasure doing this broadcast with you.
Always.
I've done many broadcasts with you, but boy, you were hotter than a doggone oven today.
I appreciate it. Always.
You were hot, man, and I'm glad that you have passion, because many men and women will hide behind a cell phone. They won't talk about this because, like I said, because they're angry now because we talked about their favorite comedian or their favorite rapper or their favorite celebrity. They don't even know these people, but they'll get angry at you and I and talk bad about us because we're saying we need to stop feeding this. The next time I get on this cell phone and I see somebody going back and forth, once I recognize what it is, I'm going to get off that thing, or I'm going to go to something else positive. That's how you stop this social media beefing. But the African Americans on social, the African Americans that watch this, most of us, we're so engrossed in this stuff, man, that we won't let it go. So I'll give you the final words. And again, please, y'all, if you didn't get a chance to watch this, go back and rewatch it, like the broadcast, and tell other people about the broadcast, because this is a broadcast that's all about education. And we're talking about basic education, teaching all of y'all that, and ourselves as well, because you notice, Chaz and I, we put ourselves in this because we're just as guilty as you are. So you should want to be on a broadcast that's going to give you positive tips to help you get out of this madness that we're in. So go ahead, Chaz, and take it away.
I don't know if you heard me, but I think I did give my final word earlier, but I'll just wrap it up one more quick time. But this was a simple 2-week podcast that we did about social media beef. We can't avoid it, but the thing is, like you just mentioned, when you see it, get off of it. Don't be searching this stuff up all day and night. Don't be looking on the internet all night just for some kind of beat to stay interested in or to get hype about, to give you some kind of energy. I mean, because like we mentioned earlier, most of these entertainers is scripted, it's for money, and it's just for people to talk about so they can get some kind of publicity. And once again, the social media beef, we cannot avoid it, but when you do, try to hurry up and get off of it and just erase it or unfollow that certain individual that's causing all this drama. I appreciate you having me on once again, big brother. And I'll pass the floor to you.
Okay. On behalf of Chaz, I am your big brother, Jahi, and we both are part of this podcast, this broadcast. We are the content creators. It's called Adults Only. Please, y'all, continue to watch this broadcast and tell people about it. Send us a friend request to Cry's Womb if you don't have it, and tune in every week, and you'll see that we're going to have a fruitful discussion. But in the end, when it's all said and done, we hope that you're going to be a better person after you watch the broadcast than you were when you started watching it. So once again,
I forgot real quick, big brother, on the audience, if they would be interested of knowing, have we came up with a topic for next week, or are we still contemplating?
No, just tune in, because you know we're gonna throw something on the grill next week. And when we throw it on the grill, just jump in there, because you know how we do it. So once again, we thank you for tuning in. And again, on behalf of Chaz, I'm Big Brother Jahi. We'll see you guys next Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. And we appreciate all you. We love you. And we'll see you on the next week. And thank you for tuning in tonight.
Take care.